Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before, this is GABNET, the Great American Broadcast Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard the GABNET Tour bus. Today our tour will take us up and around the newly designed GABNET.net webpage. For your safety, please stay seated while the bus is in motion and enjoy your trip. Also, remember that tipping your tour guide is greatly appreciated. Okay, we're off. The first place of interest that we're going to pass on the top left, you'll see a rotating billboard of all of the great GABNET programs. Legend has it that legendary broadcaster Alex Bennett created this billboard to attract early visitors to GABNET and to lure them into his site. To this day, it's one of the top attractions on our tour. Up next, look over at the top right and you'll see the most recent video of Alex Bennett's Ramble. And if you're lucky enough, we'll see Alex interacting with the citizen panel. Always a tour highlight. Did I mention that tipping your tour guide is greatly appreciated? As we approach the bottom of the Ramble video, we see quick links to all the ways that you can connect with GABNET programs. Facebook Live, YouTube, TuneIn, Livestream, Vimeo, and the GABNET Roku channel. They're all additional stops that you can make if you choose to step off the bus. But remember, please tip your tour guide if you do, and then you can hop on the next bus. Here's another highlight on our tour. On the left side, you'll see GABNET On Demand. You can quickly access any of the most recent programs there. Clearly, a value spot on our tour because downloads are at no extra cost. Please give your attention now to the right side. Look at the complete tutorial on how easy it is to become a citizen panelist. By the way, if you're a Luddite, there's a phone number that you can use to dial in. Okay, we're nearing the halfway point on our trip. I certainly hope that you're enjoying it. Oh look, there's the convenient call Skype button that you can click on, which will automatically connect you to the citizen panel. So now we're turning down the center of the page. I don't want you to miss any of these attractions, so please pay attention. Up first is a link to the 24/7 feed. Now these are going to come fast and furious, so pay attention. Next is a quick note on how you can hear GABNET on Amazon Echo. Next, quickly coming behind that, and this is always exciting, a screen that shows Alex Bennett's Ramble when it is live, with a countdown to the next show. It's always fun when we pass and the show is live. We're winding down our tour of GABNET.net, but before we reach our final stop, it's important to note that there is a place for you to contact them with your comments. Let them know how you like GABNET.net and the GABNET programming. And with that, we wrap up our tour. Remember, as you step off the bus, to please be careful. And also remember that GABNET is talk like you've never heard or seen it before. Did I mention, please tip your tour guide?
Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before, this is GABNET, the Great American Broadcast Network.
Oh, hey everybody, how are you? Welcome to another week of broadcasting here on GABNET and the Ramble, which goes on until midnight Eastern Daylight Time. Yes, we lost an hour this weekend. Where did it go? I've got so few hours left in my lifetime. I don't want to have to waste one like that. Well, I think maybe I'll get it back later on, okay? Anyway, once every couple of weeks we check in with a dear friend of ours who has always got something to say. Ladies and gentlemen, looking out his window. Show me outside your window here if you can. Look at that. There's San Francisco, ladies and gentlemen, in the rain. There is the Pacific Ocean that you were seeing outside his. That's a nice view you've got there, mister. Yeah. Look at that. And is that what is that? No, I guess that's just your light shining off your window. I was thinking that was a boat or something out there. Anyway, how's everything in San Francisco, California? getting more expensive by the day?
By the minute. By the minute. More congested, more crowded. Uber, Lyft, we call them Lubers.
Yeah. Now that Uber and Lyft seem to be a problem for you out there because it's really clogging up traffic.
It is. It is.
Yeah. Then is San Francisco going to do anything about it? Because in the old days, San Francisco would have passed some law immediately to solve that problem.
Yeah, well, London Breed is kind of, she's part of the Old Boy Network. She's not mayor. She was mayor. She'll probably be mayor in November.
Who's this?
London Breed. She's a supervisor who's running for mayor because our mayor died. Ed Lee died.
Yeah, right.
So now there's like 6 or 8 people running.
Yeah.
London Breed is on top of the polls. Jane Kim, who was appointed by Ed Lee as a supervisor, she's in second. Mark Leno, I know
that name from somewhere.
Yeah, you remember Mark Leno. He was a supervisor, and then he was an assemblyman, then he was a state senator.
Yeah.
So he's running in third, but he has a disadvantage of being a white male, which right now is not on top of the pecking order.
Yeah.
And Angela Alioto
is Angela. Angela's an old friend.
Yeah, she's currently running in fourth in the polls.
I always liked Angela.
She's mad.
Huh?
She's mad.
Yeah, I called her a gutsy broad. You know, she really had an attitude about her. You know.
Yeah. She could do well. She could do well because everybody else is being so vanilla.
Yeah.
You know, and she could go. And Ed Lee was so vanilla. So maybe San Francisco is ready for a rap browser.
Well, no, but then again, you've got all those Silicon Valley people who moved into San Francisco, and they're all vanilla.
Yeah, they're less than vanilla.
They're vanilla. No, they're vanilla extract.
Yeah, they're plain yogurt.
Oh man, when we talk about it, let me explain to people because we're playing to the whole country, obviously here. Angela Alioto is part of a royal family in San Francisco. They owned a fish store. They owned a restaurant, Alioto's. So, and her what was it? It wasn't her brother. What was Alioto?
Wasn't Joe her father, or was he her uncle?
Well, wait a minute. Who's the Alioto that died?
A lot of them.
Well, no, but wasn't? I'm trying to remember. Wait a minute.
Joseph was mayor.
Joseph was mayor, and he got shot, right?
No, that was Moscone.
Moscone, excuse me. I'm in my old age. I'm forgetting things, but I use my old age as excuse for everything I don't remember anymore.
Yeah, you can always claim the batteries in your hearing aid are
what?
shorting out.
What?
Even when you're not wearing a hearing aid.
Yeah. So anyway, she comes from the kind of this royal family that owned a restaurant here in San Francisco that was very famous called Alioto's, and her father, was mayor. Yeah. And you know, and I always had her on my show, and she was just like gutsy and fun, and you know, I like that in a politician. I figure a politician who can't laugh, I don't vote for. You know.
Yeah. Like Donald Trump doesn't have a sense of humor.
Well, sense of humor is a sign of intelligence to me. In other words, being able to get jokes is intelligent. It's the person in the room who goes, "What do you mean?" when you tell a joke that you know is stupid, okay? Oh, yeah, Trump is stupid. Trump is not intelligent.
He went to Wharton Business School, one of the best business schools in the country.
Yeah, who took the test for him? I have no idea.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. So apparently he didn't learn anything there because, you know, this whole thing about steel and aluminum he hasn't got a good grasp on. He doesn't understand that if you raise the tariff 25% on Chinese steel, that they're going to raise the price of steel 25%. And then what does that do? that comes back to bite us in the ass, the consumers. He doesn't even think about that.
Well, he fired Secretary
Tillerson.
of State.
Yeah.
Tillerson. Yeah.
How many people is this now? They have a list, and it's like it's getting longer every day. People who have either left or been fired. He thinks he's doing the Apprentice. Is what he thinks he's doing.
Yeah, he just gets to fire people. This is his dream job.
Yeah. I mean, this is amazing. We're in so deep doo-doo. It is just.
Yeah, may you live in interesting times.
Well, no, these aren't even interesting. These are scary, stupid times. Okay? I don't know how to put it any better. I mean, it's just stupid. It's just dumb. Yeah.
But people love him. The people who love him because of exactly why we hate him. Because he has no couth. And they want.
Well, he's as dumb.
Someone like them. He's not like them. A lot of people have couth, who like him. It's that he is so anti-Washington. He's a junkyard dog, and that's what they want in there.
Well, we're all anti-Washington, but you can't ignore Washington. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to ignore Washington.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, it's a factor. It's a fact of life. Now, you tame it. That's a good way of putting it, is you tame it. I'll tell you where he's really stupid. And I'll tell you where they're really stupid. And that's when it comes to the press. This constant bashing of the press, he thinks that's to his advantage, because whenever they say something about him, like, hey, you fucked a porn star, he can say, fake news. Fake news. The press. They're out to get me. Blah, 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 blah. I think maybe it's time the press just said, you don't like us? Then we're not going to cover you. And not go to all these rallies and not cover them. It will drive him fucking bats.
Well, that's the problem, is that they're not making these decisions. I mean, the fact that they would cover a Republican president doing a rally in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania on a Saturday night, and they would show this rally live, even though today, Tuesday, the following Tuesday, there's a special election in a district close to Pittsburgh, part of Pittsburgh, that a Republican is in deep trouble. And the fact that they would do this is so helpful to him and his cause that the problem is most correspondents and reporters are smart liberals, but most of their bosses, the people who own the networks and the newspapers, are smarter conservatives, and they love Trump because of the eyeballs that he brings to their little enterprises, either their newspapers or CNN covered it live on a Saturday night. This rally.
Well, let me throw this in as a broadcaster. I think one of the reasons they cover it is when you're doing 24/7 news, you got so much time to fill that a speech he's giving somewhere gives you an hour respite. It gives you an hour.
You ever remember an Obama's rally being covered live?
No.
For its entirety?
No. And most presidents do go out to the hinterlands to do some kind of politicking, either for some kind of thing they're trying to get passed, or just because they're out there supporting a politician. But we don't cover all of those. But what I'm saying is, it seems as though the press has become codependent with Trump.
That's a good phrase. Yeah.
Yeah, they're codependent on Trump. And they're willing to take the beating when they go out there. I mean, if I were running a network and he started bashing the press in a speech I was covering, I would say, cut the cameras. Fuck him. He doesn't get any more coverage from us. He does something that's worth reporting, we'll report it. But we're not going to cover every time he sneezes somewhere or farts somewhere, because he so dominates the news now. And that's his doing. He wakes up in the morning and says, how can I get more press today?
Exactly. Exactly. And we're falling into his trap.
We are codependent on him. He is also the crying baby that you shouldn't be picking up all the time because he'll keep crying. You know, I think if the press just said, well, you don't like us, fuck you, we don't like you either, we're not going to cover you, it would drive him bats.
I think it's even worse than this. I think what he's doing is he's laying a base to cut down and press freedoms, and he'll just start issuing edicts, and maybe he'll have the Supreme Court packed. I don't know what he expects out of this, but I think he's laying a base. I think he's smarter than we give him credit for.
Well, he's smart like a fox, okay, but that doesn't make the fox any better an animal, you know, any slyer an animal, any less disgusting when it comes to killing chickens. You know, I mean, I'm just amazed that the press just, you know, oh, you want to bash us? Okay, keep the cameras rolling. Fuck you. Just fuck you. You don't like us? You don't want us? We won't cover you. We'll cover the important stuff, like, you know, when you hear that Kim Jong-un, okay, and in fact. You hear now that, of course, CBS has done a 60 Minutes piece on Stormy Daniels, and the White House is trying to stop them from showing it. Yet the White House, Trump says, I never had anything to do with Stormy Daniels. Who's Stormy Daniels? I don't see a Stormy Daniels. And yet, every time she tries to do something, they've got the lawyers out in full force.
Yeah, I think she should just go for it and say, as you say, fuck it. What are you gonna do?
Yeah,
she's afraid of something she signed, the 130 grand.
Yeah,
but if he didn't sign it, you know, if that was that seems to be part of the deal, that he didn't sign it, and she claims that she's not bound by it.
There's just one problem: she accepted the 130,000, so that's kind of an admission that you consider it legal. You know, there are all kinds of little nuances here. She's willing to give back the 130,000. I'll help fork out some of that if she needs it, because I want to hear what she's got to say on 60 Minutes. I want to find out how big his penis is. You know,
he's got.
Huh?
It's bent.
It's bent.
Yeah, like Clinton's. It's bent. It's got.
Oh, really? There's a bend to it. What's that called? There's a term for it.
Priapisis?
Priapisis or something like that. Yeah. It's a little curve some guys have in their penis, which, you know, you can put a splint on it. You know, I don't know what you do with it. It's called priapism, is what it's called. That's
priapism.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing that when we're discussing politics and the president, in that discussion, we're discussing what a bent penis is called?
I was just thinking that this morning because they showed a picture of the president with Stormy Daniels.
Yeah. And
I was thinking, man, she looks better than Monica Lewinsky, because we used to see the president hugging Monica Lewinsky in that rope line.
Yeah.
And that was always the shot that they showed. And here it's Trump with the porn star.
You know, this is strange. Maybe this
adult film star.
This is my fucked up DNA. I don't know, but I found Monica Lewinsky sexy.
Sexier than the porn star.
Yeah, mainly to begin with, her tits are real. You know, I mean,
yeah. There's something very Trumpy about her.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Because his whole being is designed around pressing an advantage. The fact that he's got more power, or that he doesn't care, or that he's got money and he'll just turn away, or he'll lie, he'll cheat, he'll steal, he'll do anything to press his advantage. You know, he doesn't care. He has no moral compunctions. Maybe with his family he does, but otherwise... And that's his, I don't know if you would call it even, that's his advantage, the fact that he will do anything to anybody for any reason. And she has that same look about her.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing.
Monica Lewinsky was a cute little Jewish girl.
Yeah, and we're forgetting about the Playboy Playmate he fucked, too. And this is all about a couple of weeks after Melania gave birth to Barron.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, who said that last night? Was it Jake Tapper, or was it on a repeat of Meet the Press? Oh, did you see Meet the Press?
No, I watched it, but I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, man, Chuck Todd was talking to Mnuchin.
He wasn't letting him get away with anything, was he?
He was pissed because the night before, Trump had called him out loud, Chuck Todd, a sleepy son of a bitch. And it was hysterical because at the end...
What did he say about Chuck Todd?
That he was a sleepy son of a bitch.
Oh, really? And Maxine Waters has a low IQ.
Right.
Yeah.
So he brought those two names up. So Todd never asked Mnuchin about the insult to himself, but he asked about the insult to Maxine Waters, and at the end he kept pressing him on it. At the end, Mnuchin said, "Well, you know, these are just rally things. He makes up funny names at rallies, and you know, he just has a good time at rallies." And as a throwaway, because it was the end of the interview, Chuck Todd goes, "Yeah, hysterical," and closed the interview. And then when they did the round table at the end, just as they're closing down, that's it, we'll see you next week. And they had talked about the time change, you know, the fact that Sunday morning after the time change, you know, when you set your clocks ahead an hour, everybody had lost an hour of sleep.
Yeah.
And I forget if it was Cokie Roberts, but somebody, I forget who it was, who said to Chuck Todd, "Well, that explains why you're so sleepy-eyed." And the whole cast broke up. It was hysterical. Yeah.
Wow.
Hysterical.
Yeah. Steve Mnuchin is the brother-in-law of some friend of my wife's.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. They said he's even said he's an asshole.
He's got the Mitch McConnell disease, where he nothing on his face moves when he talks, and except for his bottom jaw, he talks.
I love the toadies they trot out on Sunday shows because they're all such robots about Trump. It's like they don't want to say anything bad about Trump for fear they'll get fired. They'll get thrown off the island. You know, this is like a reality fucking show.
Well, Chris Christie was on Stephanopoulos without Stephanopoulos, and you could see Chris Christie angling, because the reason Chris Christie got bounced from being part of the administration was because when he was a federal prosecutor, he put Jared Kushner's dad in prison.
Yes.
So that's why he got axed, because of Kushner. Kushner said, "No, I'm not going to." And now Kushner's in trouble. So you could see Christie kind of like angling to talk nice about Trump in case he can come back into the fold. So they were asking him questions, and you could see him looking into the camera, knowing he was speaking to one guy, knowing he was speaking to Trump, making rationalizations about Trump. Oh, this is the way he's always been, and he's a decision maker, but he makes his decisions his own way, and he's being very cagey. Because he thinks Kushner is on the outs, and that if so, then he gets to come back.
Wow. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
I think Kushner's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, it's impossible to know what to do with the in-laws, you know.
Yeah, but
because what do Ivanka and Jared do, you know?
He builds buildings and knows money on them, you know.
Well, he bought 666.
Yeah. Well, maybe just that address alone was a good reason not to buy it.
Yeah, well, they should have changed it to 668.
You know, they do on most buildings. There's not a 13th floor. Okay, It goes 14. 12, 14, just out of bad luck.
Out of respect.
Yeah, so I don't think you would have a 666.
And they bought it in 2007. I mean, right at the heights, right before, everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So,
I mean, but it's just
greed.
yeah. Are we ever going to see this pet president chased out of office? Is the question.
Everything is all dependent on November. It's all dependent on November. Hell, we'll know a lot more tonight after Pittsburgh's congressional seat, because Trump won that district by 20 points, and now his support. It's a toss up, between the Democrat and the Republican.
It's a tie right now, and it shouldn't be. They say it shouldn't be. This other guy should be like the Republican should be way ahead of this.
Yeah,
this
18, 20 points ahead.
But here's the thing: that congressional district is being chopped up, is being, I think, eliminated in some kind of
that specific district.
Yeah.
I mean,
so what they're doing is they're running for something that they're not going to have.
Well, it depends on when the Pennsylvania Supreme Court's new districts come into play.
Supposedly, it will be during this term, which would put them, whoever gets elected, without a congressional district.
But they could run in the new congressional
district.
Yes,
that they can do, but they have to rerun again.
Well, no, they would have to.
They wouldn't just be assimilated into that new district.
No, because this district will be gone, and neither one after, no matter who wins tonight, they will not be a resident of the district that they represent after the new lines come in. So, it's very convenient. But in November.
And supposedly these two guys will be, because of where they live, in two different districts.
Yes.
So they will not run against each other.
In November they will not run if the Supreme Court doesn't strike down the Pennsylvania Supreme Court's decision, which is a possibility. We don't know nothing. We don't know nothing.
Yeah,
but in November, if the race is fair, the Democrats will take the House, and then they can start up different committees. Then they'll have seniority. They'll run committees. They'll be the majority, and they can investigate Trump to their little heart's content. I'm running this campaign. I said this on Facebook, that anybody who passes Devin Nunes, the representative from who disbanded
he's an asshole. That guy is a major fucking toady asshole, ass-reaming, cock-sucking.
I want people, anybody who walks past him or sits near him, I just want them to say, "Stupid twat," every time they pass him, just within his earshot, not out loud, not shout it.
Yeah.
Don't confront him. Don't look him in the eye. Just when you pass him in the hall, just go, "Stupid twat," every time. So he hears it over and over, but he's not sure if he's hearing it. So
what does he expect to get out of Trump just by being such a fucking toady?
Dude,
this is the guy, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, who wrote the memo, right? The Republican memo that was Trump let go. He didn't want to let the Democratic memo out, but he let this one out. And Nunes,
chair of the House Intelligence Committee.
The House Intelligence. What an oxymoron that is.
It's like saying vegetarian butcher.
Yeah, exactly.
Stephen Hawking super secret scuba tips.
Oh man, we're living in
end times.
End times. What kind of coffee are you doing today?
I do Pete's, and I do. That's Pete's.
Yes, Pete's Major Dixon's.
I like Major Dixon.
Yeah, you know what I've really gotten to like about Pete. Pete's coffee, basically, folks. In case you don't know, Pete's is he and the other guy started Starbucks, and then they broke up, and he started Pete's. And Pete's has been on the West Coast for years now, and I think is a much more preferred coffee than Starbucks. And they have one new I do the K-cups because I'm the only one in the house that drinks coffee during the day or at night.
You do the generic K-cups and then fill it with your own ground coffee?
No, I'm too lazy for that. But I've got I'm using Big Bang is the name of the type of coffee, and it's really good. This happens to be Dixon's this morning, or Dixon's or whatever it is.
Major Dixon's, yeah. Every January, February, they come out with this special edition called Ethiopian Supernatural. It's got a little taste of blueberry in way in the back. It's not like up front, but it's like liquid crack. And so
Ethiopian what? I got to look for it.
Supernatural.
Oh, really?
It's literally supernatural. And it's like liquid crack. And I bought 3 pounds, and I have I bought 5 pounds. I've gone through 2, and I've gone through 3,
yeah.
And I have 2 in the freezer.
Yeah.
And then I cut it with half a French roast decaf.
Yeah.
So that I have
yeah.
half calf. I drink half calf, so I can drink more.
Yeah. So you actually make yourself a pot of coffee. You don't do the K-cups.
Even the best K-cup I ever found still tasted like plastic.
Really? You know, it's just if I made a whole pot of coffee, I would never get through it all day. You know, so I do a cup maybe during the morning and a cup at night, and that's it. You know, tonight I had to do a cup because I took a Xanax to put me to sleep last night, and I had to wake myself up for you.
Oh wow! Yeah. So sorry.
Hey, so Will Durst, anywhere you're playing that we should know about in case people are listening from San Francisco?
Still doing my little one-man show. I've updated it, and I'm going to keep updating it. It's called Durst Case Scenario Midterm Madness, and you can see schedule at willdurst.com, and I do commentaries once a week, and they're there, and I write a column once a week, and
that's there.
Indicated and blah blah, and who do you do?
Yeah, and we might add that that Will is no, I don't have anything to add. Why was I saying that?
No, nothing to add.
You know, but Will is I think
I'm going to be part of your reunion show when you come back to San Francisco.
Yeah, if we ever get around to that. I'm working. We're going to start working on it as soon as Gary, my business manager, is through with tax season. Because during tax season, you can't even call him.
No.
Yeah, and every year this keeps coming around and around. But and after I pay my taxes this year, I may need to do that reunion show just to pay the taxes. I always is something we never can quite come out even enough. And I'm not even working. Okay.
Yeah, I have so many expenses. I never pay taxes.
You never pay taxes, right? Okay, and you're a political comic, so they're not going to come after you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Will Durst. Thank you, Will.
Thanks, Alex Bennett.
Bye-bye.
Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before, this is GABNET, the Great American Broadcast Network.
Hey, okay. Thank you very much, Will. I hope you enjoyed our little time with Will. It is always a pleasure to have him on the program. He's intelligent and full-bodied. Okay. By the way, that Ethiopian Supernatural, I looked it up just now on my favorite place for shopping, Amazon, and I found out I'm already drinking it. The stuff they refer to as Ethiopian Supernatural is named, at least in the K-Cup version, Big Bang. And that's, I said that was like my favorite coffee that I've been drinking. And son of a bitch, I've been drinking it. Anyway, let me see here. We got to get our citizen panel thing together. Let me get out of the music panel. Let me put up Skype. There we go. There's Skype. Let me see here. There we go with that. And let me open up the the lines here. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. My most pleasant, wonderful thing that I got today was that I came up. Our lines are open, by the way. I got a thing from. I wrote up a update of a spot that we have here, which is not up to date because I changed the website. a few weeks ago, and all the things we were saying were in certain places in this spot were changed. So I asked Rob if he'd revoice it, and he not only revoiced it, but he reimagined it. And if you ever get to hear the spot, it's the bus tour of our webpage. And it only shows what a fucking genius Rob can be when he really enjoys doing some production. So I want to actually, I'd play it for you now, only now I'm waiting for people to call the show. So maybe I could still play it. Well, no, because then if people call at the same time that it's playing, it plays off. Let me see here. Can I do it off of this? Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Let me see if you guys don't. Oh well, somebody's calling. Okay, there he is. There's John Perulis, ladies and gentlemen, is calling us. Let me.
Hi, Alex.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. And Scott Boddicker is calling. It must be a rare night tonight because Scott doesn't call as much as he used to. We can barely see you, though, because there's no light on your face, Scott.
Yeah, I'm in the bedroom. I'm kind of hidden. I got to shut the other thing off.
Yes, you got to shut it off.
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Are you? Ah, there we go. There, that's better. You're in your bedroom, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He kind of looked like Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
Well, you can't.
I get that a lot even in the daylight.
You can't tell whether he looks like Robert De Niro because it's kind of like.
Well, I've been thrown into the bedroom and my wife is out in the living room. So.
Oh, okay. So you could.
I'm watching TV. I'm watching the election results and whatnot.
Oh, what's happening in those?
Later.
What's happening in those election results? Anything so far?
It's 50-50. It's like too close to call. They're going to have to go to the absentee ballots, it looks like.
Oh, boy.
So, last I heard, there was, about 535 votes for the Democrats?
Yeah, it's tight. The Democrats up a smidge.
The 2 or 3 counties that have not, or precincts that haven't reported yet, do they lean Democratic or do they lean Republican?
I think what they're saying is the Republican counties have more to report than the Democratic county, but they think most of the absentee ballots are from the Democratic side, which is actually a suburb of Pittsburgh. So there's more. So it's a toss-up. It's going to be close.
This kind of would be a big deal, though, if the Democrat wins. You know.
Not really, but it'll be.
It is because they're flipping. If they flip a very red seat. But I think this is only good for 7 months?
It expires in about 7 months. Yeah, because the district disappears, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna like Will Durst said, they're going to redraw the lines because this thing is really ugly looking precinct there. Yeah. I don't know if you've seen it on the TV or not, but it kind of looks like, I don't even know what it looks like. It
looks like something a Republican drew.
Yeah, well, if the Democrat wins, they won't want to redraw the lines. But the thing is, what they're now, is he a war hero?
He's a Marine. I don't know if he's a hero. I mean, we're all heroes if we served, right, Alex?
Right, I served. Phil didn't. Phil the coward just chickened out.
He served lunch and dinner, and
right.
He's a good-looking,
very good-looking
candidate.
Yeah,
I'd vote for him. When you look at Saccone and you look at this guy,
he just looks like. I don't know.
Normally, I'm sure that this particular election happening down in Pennsylvania, would be under normal conditions not even paid attention to, but it's being looked upon because Trump carried this particular congressional district by 20% or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so if this guy loses after Trump went down there and gave a speech on his behalf, it's kind of a referendum for or against Trump.
Or you
I
could
think
say,
so. Yeah.
You could say maybe it would have been much worse for Saccone if Trump hadn't gone there and stumped for the guy.
It could be true. Could be true.
I kind of watched when Trump was doing his stumping for this guy, and he barely mentioned the dude. All Trump did was talk about Trump.
Yeah, he also called Maxine Waters low IQ Maxine Waters. Now, wait a minute.
Yeah, Mnuchin agreed with that statement.
No, he didn't agree with the statement. He said, oh, well, that's just showbiz Donald. That's basically how he's trying to excuse it.
Yeah. All right.
But, I mean, look, even Phil, who does not like Maxine Waters and hates Maxine Waters, you wouldn't say she had a low IQ, would you?
I would say lock her up.
No. But wait a minute. You wouldn't even say that.
Tillerson did right was, the one thing I could agree with Rex Tillerson is calling out Trump is a moron. No, I think he said fucking moron.
Yeah.
So there you go.
But anyway, the point is, Phil, you got to agree. Maxine Waters doesn't have a low IQ. I mean, you wouldn't even say that.
I don't like anything Maxine Waters.
I'm not asking you that. I know you hate her, but you wouldn't say
she's a moron. If you think, I think Maxine Waters is more of a moron than you think Trump is. That's
oh
how
no. Pinheads are less morons than
Hey, what state is Stormy Daniels from? I think she should run for something,
Well, she's running for $1 million, but
wait a minute, maybe am I right? Somewhere in the South, isn't it, Scott?
I don't know.
She's got to run where there's a lot of frat boys, there's a lot of young millennial guys. Then she'll win. She'll win something.
You mentioned something very interesting. Stormy Daniels' attorney, I saw him on the news this morning.
Yeah.
And he's saying that we just want to return the $130,000 so we can tell our story. Well, I tell you something. If she wants to return the $130,000, I think she should donate it to the kids that lost their lives in Florida.
No. Look, that would be nice, but the fact is that the reason she would return the $130,000 is to the person who gave it to her. That would be the way of getting out of it. Not
done.
Huh?
I'm not done.
Yeah.
Stormy Daniels is saying that the reason she wants to return that money is so that she can tell her story, and she's not there for the money. Well, I got news for you. What she should do is say, any money after I return this, any money that comes in for a book or for this or for that should go to a charity, and she shouldn't get one stinking dime of it. And then let's see if she's so quick to return the $130,000 and tell her story.
Phil, what does Stormy Daniels do for a living?
She's a whore.
No, she's not. She's a porno actress.
There's a difference between an actress and a whore.
Yeah, one gets paid. Well, no, the whore makes more. Look, Stormy Daniels is nothing but looking for her 30 minutes of fame right now. And if Donald Trump wasn't Donald Trump, she would have taken that $130,000 and she would have been down the road. But she's looking at another payday. And I think it's disgusting that her attorney is sitting there saying, well, we just want the truth to get out. That's all Stormy wants.
Hey, look,
she just wants the truth.
What's wrong with Rob's got problems with his connection?
Yeah, he was having some problems.
Yeah.
Hey,
but
her kind of prostitution is respectable, but the whores that are in the White House and the Congress, there's no topping that.
Hey, other than the fact that she's hot, would you take her home to meet your mom?
Who? Stormy Daniels? Yes, I would, but my mother's dead, so we'd have to go to the cemetery.
You guys,
if I can find her grave, since I haven't got a tombstone on it.
You're on now.
Can you guys hear me? Because I can't hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I hear nothing coming over the wire. I see you guys are nodding.
Yeah.
I hear nothing, and I don't know why.
It's something.
I hear it ring when it's trying to ring.
Yeah.
But I can't hear any voices.
Go to your settings and see if somehow you don't have it set so you can hear it. But he can't hear me telling him that.
No, he can't hear you.
Yeah.
He can't hear you.
Yes, Renee.
I have 2 points. One is, first off, I would really like Larry Bubbles Brown to record and put up on iTunes so that I can buy the ringtone going, hooker, hooker.
Yeah.
Because
nobody knows what we're talking about, but yeah.
Well, then say it better than I do.
Well, no, it's just he has a line he uses, and he just sometimes just goes, hooker? You know, I can't even do it. You know.
And it's perfect.
Okay,
And it
hold on a second. We got a problem with
Rob?
Rob. How can we solve this problem? Because everybody else can hear me, and you can all hear each other.
Just froze on me. So is he?
Yeah. Hey, Rob, if you still hear us, why don't you reboot everything?
He can't hear nothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody
Make a
write
sign.
I got an idea.
Yeah,
here.
I'll make
hold
here
on
it is.
a second. Stay where you are, people.
He needs to go to
Rob
YouTube.
just took off.
Rob Alfano. Let me see here. Add to group call. Okay, let's see if he comes up. Now, what happened to John? John. Oh, there. It was when John moved away. It was just it's a black background. So.
Phil, stop whining about what the porn actress is doing.
The who?
Because literally, reboot.
Hold it back
So
further.
how many times can you use the R2, 1, 2?
John, hold it back further. You're not.
Well, he can't see you anyway because he isn't on right
He hasn't
now.
put his camera on yet.
Or he is up maybe.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So I'm on my iPhone because I rebooted my computer.
Oh.
See? There you go.
I see. So you're just doing audio right now, right?
Yeah.
Rob,
Yeah.
you're just doing audio right now, right?
What's that?
You're just doing audio right now, right? You didn't call us.
I don't know what I'm doing, quite frankly.
You didn't call us with
In fact,
video.
I have to put you to my ear in order to hear.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah, but you're
Now I hear you.
We could hear you before.
you're just doing audio only, right?
Yeah, because I'm on my iPhone.
Yeah.
And I'm logging again. What the hell is all that? Something going on my computer.
Yeah, that's funny. Hey, Scott, you've got a 4-post brass bed? Or is that one of your girls?
No, it's maybe 4 posts, I guess. They're small.
Yeah, I used to tie people up on those bad boys.
It makes too much bumping noise against the back wall, though.
Life sucks, huh?
Oh boy.
And your point was what?
Anyway, let's get back for a moment to Stormy Daniels. First of all, she's not a hooker. She's
from Louisiana, Baton Rouge.
She's an adult film actress. Forget about actress. She's not very good at acting. But
so she sells her body.
No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't.
She does it on tape instead of in some stranger bedroom.
To begin with, she has her choice of the men that are going to be in it with her. So a hooker has her choice too. She is allowing her body to be photographed while having sex, but she is not standing on a street corner or sitting in a hotel room or at a bar waiting for people to pick her up and then she charges them for a blowjob or a fuck.
Or you mean like $130,000 fuck that she picked up in was it Mar-a-Lago? Is that where she was?
It wasn't Mar-a-Lago, I don't think.
It's your guy that bought the goods. So
hey,
you blaming the female isn't gonna catch it because it's your guy who bought the goods while his wife was.
Then why is it the pro that always gets arrested?
It's your guy.
No. My guy's just a John.
Oh, snap.
Wait a minute.
Hang on. We're back to this is what happens to farm workers. All right, here's the deal.
Oh, did farm workers get laid?
The person that comes over the line to be the farm worker, but they don't bust the jackass who hires them. So Phil, Trump
This is just another what about, as Alex would say.
What do you mean? It's not a what about. It's not a what aboutism.
Farm workers. What about the farm workers? No, we got a high priced hooker that is
Not a high
trying to sell her
price. She is
story.
not a hooker. There is a vast difference, or a vast difference.
Booker the hooker. That's what she is. Booker the hooker.
And it's your guy.
Well, Phil's going into one of his stupid rants again.
Hey, I'm ranting. I'm not talking about farm workers. I'm talking about somebody that took $130,000 because she banged some guy, and
The
she
white
was
guy
power
won't put
anyway.
the white guy in jail or on
She was a
trial.
power banger. She just wanted,
The
hey,
white
let's
guy won't
bump
put
a billionaire.
the white guy
Hey,
in jail for
he was a
cheating.
philandering husband on a wife who just had a baby 2 weeks earlier. Think about that one.
Probably he hadn't had
How do you
anything
feel about the morality of that, Phil?
There are plenty of men that just actually that's the
get
Oh, wait a
anything
minute.
for nine-
Trump denies it. Okay, he denies it. Do you believe him, Phil?
No, of course. I believe Maxine Waters is high IQ too. As much as I believe he didn't bang that.
Oh, okay. But he says he didn't. But how come, if he didn't, his lawyers are trying to keep her from going on 60 Minutes?
Well, because
Bingo.
You know, how come
they-
her lawyers are saying, if you say anything, we're going to file suit for $1 million? Why are they doing that if Trump didn't do anything?
well, maybe he did. But
He's acting. He's
did.
acting. And now, and I also want to know, where are the fucking evangelicals? Where are they in this whole matter?
Evangelicals are in the same spot they were when Jack Kennedy was banging Marilyn Monroe. They're nowhere to be found because they're full of shit too. But I can tell you that.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Can you hear us, Rob?
I hear you.
Oh, good.
Unfortunately.
Wait, I have to stand up for men here, and not that I am one, but let me do this. No, here's the deal. I personally do not know a man who screwed a adult film star or a hooker while their wife was pregnant. I don't know a man that has done that. And to say that is and for us to accept that as some sort of normality is bullshit, because I can turn to Scott and say, Scott, your wife was pregnant 3 times. Did you go see a hooker or a prostitute or a film? Not once.
130 piece.
Not once. So for you to say, so the difference is that Scott is a man and Trump is an adolescent male.
Listen.
More men that have not cheated than I do know have cheated.
I was a horn dog, but if I had a wife and she had just given birth to a baby, I wouldn't, after 2 weeks, go out and run around screwing some other women. Maybe 4 weeks, but not 2 weeks, okay?
Hey,
It was more like a couple of
Get
months, I
anything
think.
for 9 months. The guy didn't get anything for 9 months.
It doesn't
Wait a
matter,
minute.
Phil.
If he didn't get anything for 9 months, wait a minute. Hold on a second. What makes you think that because somebody's pregnant, you can't have sex with them?
No,
Got to give it up, man. He has no
but I'm
character.
sure.
Wait a minute. Say it, Rob. Listen to Rob. Rob.
He's a man who has no character, Phil. He has no character. He has no character with his women in his life. He has no character for people who work for him. He has no character for people. He fired Rex Tillerson today. Why?
On Twitter.
On Twitter, he didn't have the guts to tell him personally.
He had the balls.
Rex Tillerson was on the payroll a lot longer than he should have been, because if Rex Tillerson called me as the president a fucking moron,
That's not the point.
well, it is. That's
You
why I
call
fired
him
him.
a man and you be a man and say, look, dude, it's not working out, and I'm going to bring on somebody else. Thank you for your what he said this afternoon was presidential when he said, I wish him the best. He's all right, but he did not come across and say anything to this man, and he hasn't done that with anybody.
Hey, I'm trying to show
That's
you
the way
guys.
it's done.
I don't know how to do this on Skype.
Yeah.
You want to talk about prostitutes? Take a look at this. This is the Democrats who've taken money to deregulate the banking industry, wimpy and pathetic as Dodd-Frank is. You want to talk about prostitution? Here it is, guys. Stormy Daniels is a saint compared to this bullshit.
Compared to that bullshit. Look at our people rolling right over.
Yeah.
Who's at the top of the list
Those
there?
people.
Bennett.
Alex Bennett. Alex Bennett got 3,900,000.
Bennett? Who's Bennett?
Jesus Christ. From Colorado,
He,
Virginia.
he got $3,900.
Oh, and Kane. Look at Kane.
3,900,000.
Look at Kane. Look at Kane. Look at Kane.
Yeah, what a piece of shit. What a piece of garbage.
They're
He
all
was just the vice president.
Your
Salami.
McCaskill,
let me
your
put this up
McCaskill
there.
got 1.7.
Here we go. Bennett, 3,900,000. Warner, 3,500,000. Kane, these are all Democrats, though.
Yeah.
2 million.
Yeah.
Talk about whores.
Wow, these are all
Yeah,
Democrats.
talk about wars.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Is this list created by Republicans, and are they leaving off Republicans in this on purpose?
What's the source?
Let me check it.
Yeah,
Well, it was from. So remember,
It came in from a Facebook friend called Millennials for Revolution on Facebook.
Could be Russian for all you know.
Yeah, I was just gonna-
Yeah, because I mean,
This can be checked. There's
no. What I'm saying is there have got to be some Republicans who take that kind of money too. It's not all Democrats. So that's a list of Democrats who did it, not Republicans who did it.
But the Democrats are supposed to be the ones looking up for the little guy. The Democrats don't represent shit anymore. They have sold out so many times.
If you feel there's a really qualitative difference between Democrats and Republicans as politicians, you're nuts.
Yeah.
Hey, Phil, I have a question for you. How do you really feel about the president attacking the news media and calling everything fake news? Really?
He was right.
How about a month ago, maybe? I'm not sure exactly the time frame, but when the news media reported that he was about to let Rex Tillerson go, he called it fake news. It wasn't fake news.
No,
he does that a lot. What he's doing is he's discreet. You know what? With what's going on in the Soviet Union, because it's going to be called that again at some point. With what's going on with Putin in Russia now, with those people who were killed in England.
Right? They're lingering. Wait a minute. They're lingering.
Wait a minute. Whoa.
They haven't died
It's
yet.
Alleged. How many critics of Prime Minister May have died in mysterious deaths in England? I never hear anything about that. It's right now. It's an allegation, just like the whole entire bullshit nonsense.
Are you standing?
There's no.
Wait a minute. Are you
evidence.
standing up for the fucking Russians on this one?
My point is that
I'm saying there's no proof, and it's all allegation.
He's clear. He's a clear thinker, and he's not so quick to jump on.
Well, let me throw a little something at you.
Like the color of
poison.
His hair, you don't like his haircut.
You listen to me, Phil? Will you fucking listen to me? Jesus.
Yeah, what's that?
Can I get a word in on my own show?
No. You're allowed 20%.
The poison that was used in this particular event is only a product of the Russians. They make that particular poison.
Yeah, it was from the Cold War, Alex, and it could have been sold off when the Soviet Union collapsed.
Why are you defending?
I mean, come on.
What are you defending the Soviet Union for? You also said you liked their fucking TV station the other night.
But, he's lucky.
Do I have to bring out my graphic on all the crimes of the fucking CIA?
Well, no.
I mean, Russia's not a saint, but for Jesus Christ's sake, neither are we.
John, just think about this. There was the expiration date. If that stuff was made during the Cold War, it went far beyond its expiration date, and that proves
that was like lying son of a bitch Colin Powell's big sarin thing, and why we needed to attack Iraq. That was total bullshit.
All I'm saying, and all my point was, though, regarding, and I brought up Russia, was to say that if we don't have a free press in this country, then our leaders can assassinate their own enemies.
But we don't have a free press. We got a bunch of opinion makers.
We have
I agree with you on that one.
We have free press here. The jokers, the ones who are making shit up, are over on Fox.
No, believe me, they're making shit up all over the place. But Rachel Maddow beat out Hannity last week.
She beats him out all the time.
Yeah.
Well, that's because they're the opposition right now, right? Fox does well when they're the opposition. And that's just all that is. There's all this whipping going on out there with all of this information. I mean, let's face it. You can't even keep up with the breakneck speed of news. Who's resigning? Who's being fired? Every fucking day, it's a carnival.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, my feeling is, listen. Hitler, one of his main tactics when he was in office was to discredit the press. Right after he started discrediting the press, he started arresting them, okay, for one reason or another. This is the same course that Donald Trump is taking.
Hands in the air, Bennett.
How can you be happy about the fact that Donald Trump will not take any kind of action against our election process? How happy can you be about that? If you're
know that he hasn't taken.
Oh, by the way, the rigging of elections. Hold on a second. Do you know what
agencies have said he's done nothing?
Do you know what other election they think he rigged? Putin?
No, which?
Brexit.
No,
the Brexit vote.
Wasn't that his first endeavor into screwing with us?
Well, they are beginning to go back and start looking at what might have happened back then, and they think the Brexit vote may have been fooled around with by the Russians.
Who's she?
That's your new CIA director, baby. Nurse Ratched.
I haven't seen her.
Oh, so now there's a woman. You'd like this, Renee. There's a woman who is now the head of the CIA.
Well, she hasn't been confirmed yet.
She may have a hard time getting confirmed too.
And for all we know, she's a house Negro.
Yeah.
Is she black as well?
No, see, I said Negro, not the N word. So all she's gonna do. The reason Rex Tillerson is out is because he actually is a CEO and he's actually a man and he actually has real opinions on how this United States should be run. So she is not that person. She is going to
enough pictures the
whole time.
Johnny, enough pictures.
Unless you can read German, that doesn't help.
It says I approve of Gina Aspel.
Yeah,
all he's doing is the worst thing that you can do if you're a leader, and is to fill your cabinet with people that are yes people, real men and real women. Right. Fill their cabinet with people who can bring points up, bring up different opinions, bring in different views. He's not doing any of that.
Do you feel comfortable with the idea, Phil, that when he was approached about talking to Kim Jong-un, he immediately replied yes, rather than consulting with anybody and seeing what they thought?
Didn't talk to his State Department, didn't talk to anybody.
Well, he said he wanted a meeting, and this is the way he operates. You know, he doesn't operate.
How do you feel that what Kim Jong-un has been begging for all along is recognition, and he's giving it to him?
Yeah, no, it's fine to give it to him as long as he gets his nukes and collects them up. And
why should he collect his nukes up when we won't remove our nukes and our ships and our armament from being offshore off North Korea, both the Japanese and us?
Maybe we will.
No.
You know, he removes his nukes.
Oh, listen, all it has to happen is for Kim Jong-un to just be really nice to Trump. He'll give up everything.
That's right. That's right. Treat him nice.
Yeah.
The guy, Trump has no government experience. Zero. He's a CEO. His experience is in high-level real estate acquisitions, for which he was never, such a great thing. He's got a lot of business failures. What we've seen is the corporatization of the United States. We don't have civic-minded people. They are in government, but not at that level. Because I showed you. And
you also don't negotiate peace the same way you negotiate building a hotel.
Yeah, right. That's correct.
How do you know?
How do I know?
How do you know?
There's negotiations.
It's called, Phil, it's called logic.
Hey, for the last 20 years, no one's negotiated anything with this guy.
That is absolutely wrong. You're absolutely wrong, Phil.
Yeah, well, there has been no talks. There has been no.
There absolutely have been. There have been.
Done is throw money at him.
Phil, you're listening to right now. You're listening to lies. Every president prior to him has at one point or another dealt with the North Koreans and talked about talks, but nothing ever came of it. But the fact is that they all had been talking to North Korea. Obama had. So had, not personally, but, through our emissaries, so did Bush and I believe Clinton, even Clinton before him.
Hillary did, right. So, and also, excuse me, Phil, but who exactly is our ambassador from South Korea to interface with the North Koreans?
Yeah, well, who's our ambassador to South Korea?
Hey, we're saving money by getting rid of all these ambassadors.
Well, we're saving money by not having an ambassador in South Korea.
He said they're too fat, and he's saving money.
No. See, he's going to get Dennis Rodman over there and say, guess what? You're now the new ambassador, too.
It's becoming clearly you could see it as the plain as a nose on your face that there is no one who works in the Trump organization except for maybe 3 people that he could deal with. Think about it. Yeah. This is run like a mom and pop shop, and he's trying to run the American government like a mom and pop shop.
That's the way he ran his business. He didn't have a lot of employees.
But you're president of the United States.
The presidency is not a goddamn business, Phil.
Well, maybe you need a fresh look at it.
Dictator is a business. A dictator, I've said this before, a CEO is a dictator. He sets policy. All his minions, VPs, executive VPs, talk to their managers who talk to their employees and say, this is how it goes. That's not how our government is set up to work.
Well, part of it is.
No, that's not how our government is set up.
It's a check and balance, but
Phil, look, we're trying to talk to you, and you're a guy who doesn't even know the history of the fact that other presidents and other administrations have dealt with the North Koreans.
You know how they dealt with them?
Now you're going to make this one up too, huh?
No, they gave him money. What they did was they tried to bribe him into doing
Wait a minute,
nothing.
I don't think they gave him a penny. I don't think they gave him a penny. Phil, they didn't give him a penny.
That's not true.
That is true. It's absolutely true, Phil. They didn't give him a penny.
They allowed him to create
to begin with, him happens to be Kim Jong-un, who has only been the head of that country for what, a couple of years?
6 years.
We're talking about his father and his father's father and all the presidents that have had to deal with him. And I think at no point have we given money at all to North Korea because of the Korean War. Do you remember that, Phil? Thing called the Korean War?
Yeah, it was a police action.
Yeah, and do you think we really wanted to give North Korea money after that? Especially at the expense of our friends in South Korea. No, we didn't do it, Phil. Don't start saying things that are blatantly untrue.
That's not untrue.
I know you're looking it up. You go to one of your right-wing Birchite sites and find something that somehow justifies your misguided ideas. Yes, Bob Eberth.
Oops. Kim Jong-un is not going to do anything with Trump until he sees how Trump handles Iran, because Trump wants to shut down all the treaty and everything with Iran. So what the fuck good would a treaty be with Trump until he sees how Trump handles Iran?
Yeah, because we would be breaking a treaty we were involved in, and it's a very good point, Bob. Yes, Renee.
But also on that same point is the fact that I think you brought it up last week, and I completely lost that in my head. I'm sorry. It's gone.
Well, Mike Pompeo, the new Secretary of State, is definitely opposed to the Iran nuke deal that Obama worked out. And Tillerson came out publicly for it. So now, I'm sorry, I forgot your name, but you're absolutely right. North Korea is probably waiting to see what happens with Iran. I mean, it's a sensible move. In terms of sense, North Korea's always been a crackpot nation, but hey, we're a close second. I mean, if you look at the Trump administration, give me a break.
That was the point, was the fact that Trump is actually making Kim Jong-un look much better. He is actually propelling Kim Jong-un's actual street cred from what it was the bottom to like.
Well, he's propelled him, Renee. He's propelled him to the world stage.
Right.
And that's exactly what Kim Jong-un has wanted all along, was some kind of recognition that somehow he was a danger and he had to be dealt with.
Well, how do you guys?
And now Trump is playing into that, and the only person any talks are going to benefit is Kim Jong-un.
Well, how do you guys figure in the display of North and South Korea during
by the way,
recent
Phil,
Olympics?
By the way, hold on a second. Phil has his hand up, which means he found something on some kind of website somewhere trying to justify his misguided opinions. Go ahead.
Okay. Newsweek. U.S. aid from 1995 to 2008 with some interruptions. It's over $4 billion, and then
to North Korea. To North Korea.
Since 2009, there hasn't been any aid.
Okay.
Some of the
and who's been president since 2009?
Let me finish.
Who's been president since 2009, Phil?
Obama.
Yep.
U.S. has been talking with North Korea for 25 years, and that somehow they have been financially supporting North Korea for those 25 years, and the talks have been inconclusive. Diplomatic efforts began in 1993. It's a long article, but basically they're saying this involved lifting sanctions in exchange for aid in the form of 500,000 tons of oil a year, $4 billion.
And what did South North Korea give them in return?
They were supposed to allow and reduce their nuclear efforts.
All right. So they were doing something to try and get them to do it, and they didn't do it.
They were buying it.
They lied to him. They lied to him just like they're going to lie to Trump, but they're going to kiss Trump's ass at the same time and put up a big picture of him wherever he goes, and Trump's going to just eat that up and give him anything he wants.
Hey, we'll see.
Well, it's dangerous. We'll see, like we're going to a sporting event.
What is amazing to me, Phil, and what's amazing to me, panel, is that there is absolutely no real attempt to hold Russia's feet to the fire for a lot of the things that we seem to know they did. Yes, Bob.
Talking about what you're just talking about right now, Trump did all these things recently with all the other countries trading with North Korea, and yet the news services are showing where Russian ships are shutting off their transponders, meeting with North Korean ships that shut off their transponders so they're invisible in the ocean, and they're moving stuff on from the Russian ships to the North Korean ships.
Where'd you hear that?
Bob, they can't see that on a satellite? What's going
I
on?
don't know. All I know is that they are moving stuff into North Korea from Russian ships.
Oh, where'd you hear that?
And the only ones that Trump won't call on it is Russia. And this has been on CNN. It's been on MSNBC. It has been on some of the European stations I watch.
Right. But you don't watch Fox to see if it's been there, right?
Oh.
So, Phil, the satellite would have to know where it would need to be in order to actually put a satellite there to. So, no, this is a big planet. Your satellites we don't have an entire web where our planet is being watched 24/7.
Then how does Bob know that they're exchanging stuff with their transponders off?
Because the news were following those ships. They knew the names of the ships. They followed them from the port out and back into port.
Ooh,
Where would they follow?
press.
On with a satellite?
No,
No,
they physically followed him.
That was actually a Richard Engel report on MSNBC.
Was it?
well, that
Yeah.
wouldn't. And Richard Engel would be NBC rather than MSNBC. In other words, what I'm saying
Well,
is,
he does a report on MSNBC as well.
oh, does he? Well, I mean, what I'm saying is that his basic base is NBC, and the network news is a lot less skewed than MSNBC is.
Yeah, I recorded that. I haven't watched it yet, but I saw that same report. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to say that we are missing, and this goes back to Alex's point. I am not afraid of Donald Trump. I am afraid of Putin and where this is all going to land, and it's going to land on the United States like a big pile of shit.
By the way, Jeff had his hand up. Jeff?
Sorry, Jeff.
Thank you. I was just going to say that in additional, we have devices in the ocean, so we can measure different submarines and regular ships where they are. It's all done by what's called a sonar buoy system, and the United States has them all over the world. I don't know exactly how many they can measure.
Well, how do they
measure?
The question also would be, how do they measure them? If they turn off their transponders, as Bob was implying, that might make them more invisible. You know.
Well, that may be true, but while the ship is got their engine on and they're moving,
yeah,
and the sonar buoys can pick them up.
Yeah,
they pick up the sound from the ship
and the water displacement.
Yeah,
I brought up something today to Durst, and I'm going to bring it up. I brought it up before on this program. I'm going to bring it up again. In his speech on Saturday, the president in Pennsylvania went after the press again. Once again, and this time he went after Chuck Todd at MSNBC, and he again vilified the press. I think it's time for the press to say, you know, we're not going to be codependent on you anymore. Okay, because there is a codependency going on here between the press and Trump. And Trump somehow knows how to make the radar every single day. You know, when Obama was president, we go 2-3 days and not hear about what Obama did or didn't do. He just did his job.
That's because he was clandestine.
Will you shut up and let me just finish without interrupting, Phil? Please. I beg of you. And now you're taking your earphones off because you don't see. Now he's going away because he doesn't want to hear what I have to say.
I'll announce I have to pee.
Oh, okay. He has to pee. Well, and I forgot what I was going to say.
One last good.
No, what I was going to say is they're codependent on Trump, and Trump knows this, and Trump constantly monopolizes the news. I'm so weary of hearing about him every day. Chuck Todd on Sunday on Meet the Press said, this week has been another Trump week, and he listed every day of the week, okay? Every day of the week, and what happened on that particular day. All right?
Hey, you know,
wait a minute. Let me just Johnny, let me finish what I was saying.
Okay.
So my feeling is, hey, you know, I think it's time that we did something about this. And what they should do is say, fuck you, Trump. We're just not going to talk about you. You know, okay, if something happens like, you know, the Russians, the South Koreans say that they need to, the North Koreans say that they want to have a meeting with the president, that's news. We'll report that. But the fact that this guy went down to Philadelphia to give a stump speech, don't broadcast it. What are you doing broadcasting the entire speech? You didn't do that for Obama when he went out on those stump speeches. You wouldn't do it for any other president. Why are you doing it for? Why are you doing it for Trump?
Well, yeah, that's the point I wanted to make. Was that a major factor in getting Trump the visibility and ultimately getting elected was all the free media exposure that the news gave to Trump. Yeah. I mean, they had his mug on all the time. What about Bernie? didn't get the same kind of exposure. I had to watch Bernie live stream, you know, on the internet to get some of his speeches. Not the same for Trump. Trump was just blasted all over the place.
What I'm saying is, if they take a position of ignoring Trump and saying, we'll report you when we feel it's really newsworthy, but we're not going to do all the minutia that's going on every day. I think it would drive him crazy.
Think about
you know what, Alec Baldwin.
Well, wait a minute. Let Rob talk.
Think about from a practical sense on that, because I agree with you. They shouldn't hold all of his rallies. They should not broadcast live his rallies and stuff. But think about how, like, when they did a roll on CNN about the last week and all of the stories. Where do you draw the line? There's so much going on that has to do with Trump. I agree. I wouldn't cover any of his, and I know why they do it, because he blatantly calls them out saying, what do they call them? The mainstream media or whatever won't cover me talking about this. So they're probably going out of their way to say, look, we're covering everything you do. But there's so much news. Where do you draw the line?
There's also more important news going on. Stuff that affects each and every one of us that's falling under the radar because this guy's the crying baby.
Exactly right.
And they want to catch him at what he might say and how he might fuck up.
Now let's bring Phil. Let's bring Phil into this. Phil, I'm proposing that the press stop covering Donald Trump. You know, except when something very major happens.
I think that their coverage is biased.
No. That's not what I'm. That's not what we're talking about. I don't care whether you think it's biased.
You said that they're giving him too much coverage, and that you think that they should play a mind game with him of not covering him just to make him apoplectic. And
don't you think he'd get apoplectic?
No.
Oh.
When do you have enough with this guy? What does he need to do? Does he need to go on
what baby
he doesn't belong in the White House? I just don't get it.
What baby does he have to rape?
Yeah,
okay.
I don't understand.
When will you realize that he won the election fair and square?
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
And let him do his job.
No, he didn't. He didn't win it fair and square. That's being proved every day now.
Hey, sorry, he ran it fair and square.
Hey, Lucy.
That's a good sound effect. You got 5 of those, right, Bob?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, this is why Alec Baldwin has to get going with his parody of Trump and just be on the air every day.
Listen, I wish he would quit with that impression. I'm so sick. I'm so sick of it. It has gotten. He's got to amp it up. It's gotten worse actually.
Alec Trump. Whatever his name is, Baldwin. If you want to listen to one of his best shows, listen to a voicemail message he left his 9-year-old daughter, calling her a bitch and a piece of crap. And
now we got some whataboutism. Now we got some whataboutism.
You crack me up, Phil. Because you could point to that one message that he left his daughter in a fit of rage. What about everything that we've seen Donald Trump say and do?
Alec Baldwin.
Let me finish. Yeah. All of the Howard Stern stuff, the Billy Bush stuff, all of everything that we've ever heard him say, and you have the nerve to pick on one thing from Alec Baldwin?
Excuse me. Let me tell you, Alec Baldwin is a piece of crap too. He beat the shit out of his wife, the one that lived down in Georgia.
Wait a minute. Where did you read that? Where did you read that, Phil?
20 years ago.
Go find it.
Some actress.
Go find it.
All right.
Yeah, that'll keep him busy. That'll keep him busy.
Keep him busy.
Okay, so a couple things.
I know how to shut up Phil now. I just say something. Prove it to me. Okay, Phil, prove it to me.
Hey, Phil, calculate the value of pi.
7123.
3.14
is all you get.
Take it to the 100th decimal. Anyway, yes.
Tomorrow is Pi Day.
Oh, it is Pi Day.
It is
right.
Pi Day.
What do you mean? How's it Pi Day?
It's
Pi.
3.14. March 14th.
Every March 14th is Pi Day.
Yeah, because pi is 3.14.
Oh, I see, 3.14. Okay.
Oh.
But it's not 3.14. It's
Oh, you read that wrong,
3.1444444444, whatever. Yes,
Rapid
Renee.
24?
Yes, Renee. While he's looking up this thing, which...
Two things are happening that we're not talking about that are important. Is the union's lawsuit is made it to the Supreme Court, and sometime in the next 28 days, the Supreme Court is going to hear it, and I don't know when they'll rule on it. But that's a big deal because the Republicans have been trying to strip away the powers of the unions for the last 35 years. Now they've got it to the Supreme Court, and whatever decision that's going to happen, there's going to be a lot. If the Supreme Court rules the same against the United States public, the same way they ruled against the United States public in Citizens United, we will no longer have unions. And then if along with that, we will no longer have a middle class. It will poof.
Well, that's proof that Trump, all the people that voted for Trump, listened to the bullshit. Oh, I'm going to bring jobs back to America bullshit. Yeah. And what he did was bring in the worst of the Republican secret agenda and not so secret agenda. Kill Social Security, kill Medicare, kill aid to dependent children.
Kill old people. Kill those
destroy
children.
Public education. Betsy DeVos just made an absolute
idiot
out of herself. What a piece of shit!
Did you see what the kid? Did you see what the kids down at the Marjorie whatever school said?
Yeah.
They wrote what do you call it? Tweets, and one of them said she talked to 2 kids and petted 1 dog.
Wow!
When she went to the school, yeah.
Nan's question was verbally abusive to Kim Basinger.
Oh, jeez. Have you? Do you know her story? Do you know her story? She's a piece of work in and of herself. No, she was using the kid against him, and the reason he went off the wall was because of the way she had been playing the whole situation. And he really was yelling at the kid, but yelling at the kid about trying to have her yell at the mom. It was a very contentious divorce with among other things, a woman who is considered to be a nutbag. Okay, but he's not the coolest guy in the world either. Cooler heads should have prevailed on his part, but they didn't. But that's long gone. You've never heard anything of that sort about him. That was like 8 years ago or something.
He raided Jack Lemmon. He told him to put the coffee down, but you'd never know that quote because you didn't see the movie.
I didn't see the movie.
And another distinction we can make about Donald Trump, although he plays him on TV, he is not the fucking president of the United States.
He's not the jackass.
You know, I mean, I'm getting tired of the impression. I think that it's getting to the point where it's very predictable. And quite frankly, Saturday Night Live, I don't know how it's still on the air, to be honest with you. It is so unfunny. Last Saturday night show was the worst thing I've ever seen them do. And the week before was horrible. Huh?
Bring Bellucci back.
He's dead.
And Aykroyd, yeah.
So the big deal is there's 2 things happening. One, if you take a look at all the coverage of Donald Trump, I think the problem is that it tries to put a normalization on Trump of some sort or an acceptability. So we see him all the time. What's the goofy jackass doing this time? So this keeping him in front of us all the time is trying to force us into accepting his immature adolescent lifestyle. Well, and I don't like that.
Well, we have so little expectations about him that when we hear something about he cheated on his wife while his current wife just gave birth, which, you know, if you're a good Christian, you don't even believe he should have been cheating at any time, but they don't seem to be bothered by that over those, Baptist conventions.
Fucking hypocrites.
Fucking hypocrites, yeah. But the point is that we've had such lowered expectations of him that we oh, that's just Donald, you know, and we allow behavior on his part. If Obama had done it, well, to begin with, his wife would have killed him, Michelle would have killed him, but if he had done it, oh, the Republicans would be so apoplectic. Oh, he had sex with somebody. Look how they got when what's his name? Clinton.
That's okay.
Clinton.
Forget his name. Let's not say it.
Clinton had not. Yeah, if you say it 3 times, he'll come back.
Dick knows.
But Clinton. Look at how they treated Clinton for cheating, and that was, you know, he was just getting a blowjob.
Hey,
don't say Beetlejuice 3 times.
You know, you guys have no memory of Kennedy and Marilyn Monroe, and he even
neither does anybody else, because you can't prove it. You can't prove it. It happened. It happened. It happened.
You got any photos of it?
He and Bobby Kennedy were 2-timing her. Yeah.
No, they weren't. That's fake news.
Fake news.
Fake news. Fake news. Yeah. Where are you getting your stuff from? Fake news? No, I mean there is no proof that they had affairs with them. Listen.
Because the press didn't cover it the same way they do.
You know why? You know why? I'll tell you why, Phil. And I've explored this in the past. When I first started out in this business, we all knew that Kennedy was having affairs with people. In fact, there was an actress who he saw more than any other that her name never comes up in any of the discussions. Huh?
Judith Exner?
No. That was the mobster's girlfriend. No. Glynis Johns. There was an actress named Glynis Johns. She was a British actress. She lived in this country, did American films. And he had basically an ongoing affair with her. And the press knew about it. They knew about it. Every one of them knew he was having an ongoing affair with Glynis Johns. They didn't report it because part of the code of the press at that time was that was the kind of thing you didn't report because it was none of your business. You know,
but did all of that change when who was the guy that was running for president as a Democrat? He was on some boat.
Gary.
Collins.
No, not Gary Collins. Gary Hart. Gary Hart. Yeah.
Very hard.
Yeah. That's when things.
The monkey business.
The monkey business.
That's when things change.
That was close to it, you know, but that didn't really kick it off either. I just think that what's happened is we have a whole media now that is rumor crazy. You know, they're salacious stories. A lot of these stories would not. Trump having an affair with Stormy Daniels wouldn't even be reported back in the 50s and early 60s. You know,
because that's what the news has been reduced to is salacious stories. They're not reporting the news.
No, it's what the American public has been brought down to, because the news are only going to do what they think is going to get them an audience. And if the people don't watch that kind of stuff, and if they refuse to watch that kind of stuff, then it's not going to happen.
Well, that's what they watch. I mean, look at what's on TV today. This is the kind of stuff we've been reduced to. We deserve Trump.
Well, what's wrong with what's on TV today?
Eek.
Most of it's crap. It's you know,
it's crap. It's crap to you, but to the average American who voted for Trump, it isn't crap at all. They watched The Apprentice, for Christ's sake, and that was the most boring piece of shit ever invented.
They watched The Bachelor. They watched the other. Who is the
Duck Dynasty?
Duck Dynasty. Duck Dynasty.
Yeah, Duck Dynasty.
We sow.
Hey, wait a minute. What about Longmire? Longmire is a great show. I miss it. I'm a Longmire.
I happen to be a big fan of Gotham. You know.
Oh, yeah. I've been watching the Jessica Jones second season.
We just finished the whole thing.
Yeah, what did you think of it?
It was okay. It was okay.
It wasn't as good as the first.
Westworld.
No, it was as good as the first, but it was different.
Yeah.
Scott doesn't want to know about it, so don't tell him what goes on.
Okay.
But,
when does Westwood come back?
Westworld. I think September.
No, I think it's the end. I think it's the end of this month, actually.
Oh, really?
March.
Yeah, and then Star Trek Discovery, really hot show.
Yeah, but it doesn't come back for another year yet.
Yeah, right.
But
so there's good stuff on TV, you know. And
no, but that's not TV though. That's not TV. That's outside of TV.
Yeah, that's right.
You know,
there's 1,000 channels. You know, you're going to find something good. Like he says, somebody's right twice a day. Broken clock. You know, there's the people's minds have been reduced to total drift.
Half the problem is network TV would get better if we took the chains off of them. If we allowed them to do whatever they wanted to do. If they wanted to use nudity, let them use nudity. If they want to use four-letter words, let them use four-letter words. Let them just have the freedom to do whatever they think artistically they need to do.
Don't they do that in France?
Oh, Alex, they do it everywhere.
You know, they allow swear words and nudity and stuff.
England, there's no problem with that. France, there's no problem with that. But every other country in the world has television. There's no censorship that way. Just here. Just here.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why an HBO or a Netflix is so popular, is because they have the freedom to do the kind of plots and stories and stuff that they can, would not be able to get away with if they did them on broadcast television.
They're popular because they don't have commercials.
No, you can believe it or not, if you subscribe to Hulu, you can watch American television without commercials.
Yeah. Yep.
You pay an extra $3 a month. Pay an extra $3 a month, like I do, and I can watch any of the network shows without commercials.
Right, but Netflix and HBO, they were early innovators in this non-commercial situation.
No, HBO was the innovator. However, Netflix improved on the model.
Yeah. But that model, caught on. People didn't mind paying for a specific channel above and beyond their cable service.
If it gave them what they wanted. If it didn't give them what they wanted, they wouldn't pay for it.
Well, we'll see what it's going to be in 5 years from now, how much you're going to be paying for Netflix. Keeps going up.
Well, already I'm paying an extra. I was paying $12.99 a month for it instead of $9.99 because I wanted the 4K channels. I wanted it in 4K, and then they jumped it up another $2. I'm now paying $14.99 for something I used to get for $8.99.
Well, I don't have a 4K TV. I don't have a 4K TV, so therefore I am happy not paying the extra money.
Why don't you have a 4K TV? I thought you had everything else you wanted to buy. Why don't you buy a fucking 4K TV?
Because I'm happy with my 1080p.
You won't be if you get a 4K. I just forked out for a 4K.
Ignorance is bliss. But I need a new sofa. But
you should talk to Rob's wife. Whatever club she joined that got him that television, that was pretty killer price.
It's not really the money. It's the TV's already here. I don't want to lift it up, take it out. What am I going to do with it?
Well, the new ones you wouldn't have trouble with because they're lighter.
Yeah.
My old TV is there, and I'm happy.
By the way, I saw something tonight. You talk about phones. I don't care whether I have the iPhone X. I don't give a shit if I have the new Samsung because, who gives a shit? I mean, you can only do so much with the phones to improve them to make me interested. All right? I saw a phone tonight I want.
What's that?
Have you seen the new Motorola Razr 4?
No.
Flip phone.
Really?
No, they did
flip phone.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. You're not going to believe this. You open it up, and it's a full screen, just like you have on an iPhone, just like you have on any other. It folds. And then on the front of the part you fold over, it has another screen that tells you the time and things like that. And it also has buttons you can push to use the touch screen and all of that. But it literally is now a flip phone that folds. But when you open it up, it is as full a screen as you get on an iPhone or on a Samsung. It's really cool.
Yeah, but you want to throw away your Apple Watch.
Yeah.
Hey, Phil, I checked out that idiotic 16 lens piece of bullshit you were pushing a few weeks ago. I'm not impressed with the photos at all. They look washed out. There's sections of them that are overexposed. I mean, what the hell is that for $2,000? What a piece of garbage.
Decent monitor, John.
It's part of my business.
Was photographing a prize fight, a top prize fight, about 8 months ago. And one of the guys at ringside had one of those, and he showed him what it did. And my friend said it was phenomenal, but he's not paying $2,000 for.
Most people don't know what you're talking about, so you better explain it.
It's called the Lights L16, and it's a camera that's about the size of your cell phone that's got 16 lenses in it.
And it looks like a bug.
Yeah, it's got lenses all over it, and what it does is it takes these pictures. I think it's like a handheld HDR device, if you ask me. Whereas it takes all these pictures, so it gets the perfect picture with all those lenses.
Well, I didn't see that on the demo shots when I went to their website. I think that they could do a lot to improve their website.
Well, probably, but from the one guy that I know that saw one in person, he said, and who happens to be a fantastic photographer, he said it was pretty cool, but not going to buy one.
Yeah. Thank God for small favors.
Yeah. But
by the way, Phil in less than a week is having his operation, so let's all keep a good thought out for him. Okay.
Yeah. Applause. I can't wait. Today at 28 minutes after the hour, I knew that you were going to finish your thing, and I'm standing there over the toilet saying, "Come on," and then when you said, "Hey, let me say something," I said, "Oh, this is a good break time." And what I was asking for earlier finally came.
Yeah, well, just wait till the next time you want to have an orgasm. Dust will come out.
Hey, I haven't had one in so long it doesn't matter. But,
well, the one thing the Cialis does, because it softens the prostate, is orgasms are not as profuse as they once were.
TMI.
What do you mean TMI? So you're a woman.
No.
So tell us something wrong with your vagina. We don't,
Mine's fine, thank you very much, because I have health care. But for millions of women across the United States,
that's correct.
It always comes back to my vagina is better than your vagina. Huh?
You know what I found out that really pissed me off, because Rob pointed it out the other day. All these years, the last couple of years, we kept getting these things from Optimum RX, which was part of Oxford, right? Saying, come with us, buy 90 days at a time. Have us send you your pills. And we're going, what do we want the pills sent for? We can get them right here. Well, the thing is, if we had done that, we'd probably be getting some of the same prices we're getting now with this new plan that we have. And I'm saving 2/3 off my pharmacy bill with this new plan. So,
well, after the last Republican budget, they dropped over 7 million Americans from health care. So that's great that you've got health care, but there are other Americans out there.
7 million Americans said that they didn't want to participate. They didn't drop them. If they wanted to stay, they could continue buying health care.
This had nothing to do with the ACA. These were from your cuts.
Okay.
Well, don't blame him for the cuts. His fucking Republicans he voted for.
Yeah.
Well, and when are you stupid Republicans going to start talking about the people who are really dragging your party down, which is actually the Tea Party within the Republican Party?
See, there's one thing, Phil, to be conservative. There's one thing to be right-wing. That's politics. But there's quite another to be a decent human being who cares about people. That has nothing to do with left or right.
That's why I like the John Birch Society.
Oh, God.
No. That's for only white people. John Birch Society only cares about white people.
No. There are black members of the John Birch Society. You should watch their web.
No way. Prove it.
Yeah. They parade them on.
Oh.
They parade them out.
So I saw Get Out. the movie
Yeah.
over the weekend. Yeah, have you guys seen it?
Yeah.
No. Well, it's a horror show, right?
No, dude, you are. It's such your movie.
Yeah, don't
Watch it.
do any
Yeah.
spoilers because we got Scott here who never sees anything, and so
And
therefore
Scott, you gotta watch it because you're good enough to laugh your ass off on it.
I saw
too.
Godless and it sucked.
Oh,
I
really?
like Godless. I love Godless. You didn't think Jeff
John,
Daniels was
you'll-
terrific? You didn't think Jeff Daniels was terrific, Scott?
It was the only good thing about that whole show.
Okay. All right.
One guy out of 20 hours of boredom.
Yeah, well, I have Get Out here because I got it as a screener for SAG, and I'm got to show it again to girlfriend because she went to see the movie with me, and I love the film, but she didn't. She wasn't that crazy about it, you know.
Well, I don't know if I love it, but it was really good at its message.
Well, if they're really, I don't know if the only thing I think that it did that was remotely special was finally they did a horror film that black people can truly be scared of.
No, the jokes are funny. The jokes about white people are funny.
Yes.
And
if they did that about black people, would it be funny?
Yes, be hilarious.
we've been doing that.
We've been doing
what?
it for years. We just stopped
10
doing
years?
blackface and minstrel years ago. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw the last half of Death Wish because I got to the theater a little early. So
The latest version of Death Wish, you went to actually see that?
The original.
I saw the last half of it before I went in.
No, the Bruce Willis one.
Oh, thank you.
Not kidding.
Yeah.
Like, why the
Yeah,
hell?
it wasn't bad. I enjoyed the last
He's
half. It was lots of
I'm not
action.
giving any of my fucking money. He's
And,
gone.
and then
Hey, I like Bruce Willis, and he's a Republican. That in one film, remember, he was driving golf balls at a Greenpeace ship.
Yeah.
Was it
You
one
know,
of
and
you?
hitting, Greenpeace
wait,
act.
was it one of you that wrote me? Because I always joke about the fact that I really want to see the movie Black Panther. I went to it, but I still want to see it because the projection was so dark that we couldn't tell. And was it somebody wrote me and said they had the same problem at their theater?
No, I didn't see
I think it might have been Ray Renati.
Ray Renati, yeah. He
Yeah,
said he had
all
the
right.
same exact problem. He went to the theater and it was too, yeah. Apparently, you know, some of these theaters are just fucking up projection like crazy.
Well, see that that's you can't have. We used to, as nerds, have this conversation.
Yeah.
Where to go? What is the best movie screening area within your theater within your area? And go to that one for the science fiction or this, for all of the really good action stuff.
Yeah.
But none of us live near anybody else to have that kind of conversation about what the best theater is for. Who's got the best surround sound? Who's got the best projection? We don't get to do that anymore.
This was a case of not that they didn't have good projection. It's just they weren't projecting it like they should. Somewhere the light was too down. And I was the only one in the theater that noticed it, but I couldn't tell what was going on the screen.
Can the light be down on a digital projection?
It can be, yes.
Yeah.
If it was shot a particular way.
No,
I
it
guess
isn't a matter of being shot a particular way. It's a matter of, they may
Sounds
have.
like a technical issue with the projection.
Yeah, the bulb wasn't bright enough or whatever. They can turn.
If they used film, they would have a bulb. But
So if that's a problem, so I see.
yeah.
I only have one movie theater to choose from. Well, I took two. Oh, we have a new theater. Yeah, so I go crazy over this because I'll put a shout out on Yelp or something like that. For God's sakes, do I have to drive to Hilo to get a good movie theater?
This was the same theater that I went to a few months ago to see a movie in 3D and sat there, and the movie comes on and it's not in 3D. and everybody's sitting there with their glasses on, and I go down to the manager and I said, the picture in
Theater 6,
Theater 6 or Theater 4 or whatever isn't in 3D. And he said, well, wait a minute, let me see if we're showing it in 3D, right? Oh, it's well, it's supposed to be 3D in that theater. I said, well, it's not. And he goes up and he looks and he says, yeah, I guess it's not in 3D. He says, you want your money back? I said, you just wasted my fucking time. You know, oh, here, we'll give you a ticket to see it again. I went, oh, give me a break, you know.
Hey, I had to shoot a music video.
You know, but wait a minute, let me finish it. Let me finish it. But
Yeah.
these people were sitting there. Nobody else was complaining. They all had their 3D glasses on and thought they were seeing a movie in 3D.
Hey, the emperor has no clothes.
I had to shoot a music video in a projection booth in the late 80s or early 90s.
Yeah.
It's the first time I've ever been in a projection
Oh,
booth.
God damn
And
it.
there was a toilet right next to the projector. And, you know, I got a big kick out of that. I said, is that real? And the projectionist said, oh, yeah. I said, you know, I mean, this was when they were still shooting, you know, projecting film.
Yeah.
And the guy says, we can't leave here. You know, if we have to go take a dump or a pee or something, that toilet, that's why it's there. You know, and it
arms.
Yeah,
it's
well,
the
now
funniest
that
thing
now
I've
there
ever
isn't
seen.
even a projectionist. But you said you were bothered by something there, Renee. Did you get some bad news or something?
Stephen Hawkins has passed away, and
Oh.
fucking Donald Trump is still breathing. The one of the smartest men on the
Hawkins
goddamn planet is gone.
Yeah. Wow.
Stephen Hawking is dead. Do you know?
Wow.
Actually, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Trump
That how old does it say he was? Does it say?
I just picked it up. I'm only getting it from one news source at the moment.
Because
so
I looked up.
feel free
Huh?
to verify.
It would be fake news.
Yeah, I was looking up ALS the other day because it happens to be a factor in Jessica Jones. I'm not ruining anything for you, and I wanted to see what, you know. I wasn't that familiar with ALS and what its symptoms were, because who knows if I have them, you know. And
you don't have
and they wrote up. They said you can only most people only live about 8 years with ALS. And that Stephen Hawking is probably one of the longest people to live with ALS. He's like, he lived 50 years with it so far. So I'm wondering how old he is now, and how, you know, he probably has lived beyond his biggest expectancies, you know.
Well, he was playing baseball in his 20s.
Yeah, yeah. No, he was in pretty good shape till his 30s, right? When did that all start hitting?
It was his 20s.
Yeah. So, you know, I'd say maybe he was in his 70s.
I think it said he was 76.
Oh, really?
76, yeah.
Okay. Well, then he, you know, you could say, oh, darn, we're really sorry about that. But he outlived any possible, you know.
On that note, just to let everybody know, and I don't know the differences, so don't ask me, there are different versions of ALS. And there are some that will take you in within 2 years, and there's some, but to say that Stephen Hawkins has outlived it longer than anybody else in that particular category of that version of it. So yeah, by far he outlived it. But we needed his brain, god damn it.
Yeah, but, you know, I mean, at some point he was going to die anyway, even if he didn't have ALS.
I think he willed his brain to science.
I sure as hell hope so, but he is the science.
You know something, anytime we have willed, people have willed their
He
brain.
should have willed his brain to Trump, for God's sakes. You know,
You know,
look, do you realize how bad Trump would be if he were smart?
Oh,
you know.
You know, I had to do what do they call it, a DNR and a directive and a few other things, and it crossed my mind about possibly, if something happened, donating my body to science. You know, like you know, well, what the hell, you know.
I'm donating all my organs, so you know, just to offset some of you.
Well, what you should do is in your DNR put in there DNR, but first make sure that Alex gets the mini Mac. Yeah.
So I've got a Catholic friend who says that he refuses to donate any of his organs because he has to have them all, because when he gets to the gate of heaven, there's nothing allowed to be removed from him that because he won't get in.
Well,
that's why he won't donate his organs.
Did he ever have his tonsils removed?
I don't know. After I heard that, I was just like,
you know, what a stupid, short-sighted, dumbass thing to say.
It's his religion. Because he's that Catholic, he's that far into the Catholic religion that the Catholics believe that shit.
I really
They
should.
only want your soul.
I really. Oh, hi, Kevin. Well, you've hardly said anything tonight, Kevin.
I can't get a word in.
Get some words in edgewise here. Anything griping you today? Anything pissing you off?
No, just this guy out here in California.
How's your knee?
Oh yeah, he's out there this tonight,
Yeah,
isn't
he's
he?
out there.
Yeah, he's wall shopping.
Yeah.
He's
That's the real
Not wall
Walmart.
shopping. He's wall shopping.
Walmart.
Walmart.
So just out of
Simple son of a
curiosity,
bitch was down there. He talking shit about the governor and the whole bit. And oh my God,
The
How
governor
many-
deserves.
how many
he's firing by
Republicans-
tweet. What else?
What about states' rights?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, what about it?
What about that really big river? You know, it's kind of this big, huge, very wide body of water that's actually
What a
kind of
horse's
in
ass. He's holding
between.
up that stupid map, showing a map of before and after, and we're stopping 95% of the people now. We're going to go all the way and go 99%. Why doesn't 95 work?
Actually, when he first became president, people coming over the border had waned a great deal. I guess out of a certain fear of trying to see what he was going to do. And when they finally saw that he really wasn't getting anything accomplished, it's back up to where it was.
Yeah, it was just a joke. Today was just amazing. to me.
And by the way, instead of taking them over that border, they're now packing them. And I wonder if you saw this on 60 Minutes. They're packing them in big giant trucks, and they're suffocating to death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And because
That's been going on
of-
for a while, yeah.
Is NAFTA still in play? Is NAFTA still in play?
Yes.
So the trucks still have kind of a what is that thing when you a fast pass to get through the actual border area? Some truck companies do that, and so we're going back to this routine because we've tried this before, where they're putting people in the trucks and they're actually dying,
You know,
or the truck drivers just
well,
leaving
what's
them in the
fascinating is the two countries he left out of this, the tariff deal, is Canada and Mexico. But it's because he had to, because they're part of NAFTA,
Right.
and he couldn't apply those tariffs to them. If he did, he'd be negating NAFTA, which he has no right to do unless they, renegotiate. So he's stuck with NAFTA. But I just, it's going to be, this is all terrible. It's just,
Some of the construction workers or the construction labor unions in California are talking about not allowing or voting to not work on any part of the wall in California or manufacture any part of it in California. So we'll see where that goes.
I bet you it'll get built by either private enterprise or the Army Corps of Engineers.
Well, you also heard that the head of the director of ICE resigned today in California.
Yeah, right. That too. Yeah.
Yeah, because he was tired of Trump boasting that there was 800 that got away from Libby Schaaf's talking crap last week.
They're suing Libby Schaaf, so we'll see.
Yeah, I know, but Trump was running around saying that 800 of them got away because of her, which is a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, I don't have my theme song here. Let me see here. Do I have any theme song?
Hey, Phil, how many Republican presidents does it take to build a fucking wall?
One, Donald Trump.
No, it's been at least 4. Is that correct? Bush built part of the wall. Trump wants to build part of a wall. Reagan built part of a wall. Who was the? So 3 of them. It's taken 3.
And
it's
Lincoln.
going to be 4. So
None of
yeah,
them
you
will
guys
work.
got a good track record there.
Hey, did you see that story from the New York Post about a United Airlines flight attendant that forced some passengers to put their dog in an overhead bin? The dog died.
Hey, listen, they put him in the overhead bin. The dog died.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to put dogs in the overhead bin. Anyway, hey, listen, I finally found my theme song. I finally got it to work. By the way, Rob, your promo, superb. A work of genius. Maybe I'll play it tomorrow night on here so everybody can hear it. Hey, listen, Scott Boddicker, God bless you for being here tonight. We really appreciate it. Thank you. And I'll tell you all about Jessica Jones later. Phil Meyer, thank you. Did you see the first one, by the way, Scott?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Then I think you'll like the second one.
Okay, good.
Renee Collins, thank you. Bob Ebert, thank you. John Perulas, always thank you. Rob Alfano, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Jeff Stein, love ya. And Kevin, you didn't say much tonight, but you fill up a space, so call us anyway, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, that's our citizens panel, and if you're really nice to them, I think they'll all wave goodbye. Go ahead, guys, wave goodbye, and gal. That's our citizens panel for tonight. Let me get rid of them here so that we can get the Skype ready for the next show after this one, which is Intersection with Jack and Amy. And then right after that will be Connections at midnight right here on GabNet. And tomorrow at 8:30, it's our sports show. And with Franchise MC, Damien's on at 9:30. They'll be here tomorrow night. Same time, same station in life. In the meantime, if you see her, tell her I love her. I got to get out of here. I'm running late.